Andham tamah pravishanti ye sambhutimupasate tato bhuya ivate tamoya usambhutyaghorataha anyadevahur sambhavad anyada ahura sambhavad iti shushrumadhiranam yenastadvichachakshire. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastadvedo bhayagosaha vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhutyamritamashnuте. Mantra 12, 13 and 14 are chanted together because these three mantras are a direct imitation, is actually a parody of mantras 9, 10 and 11 respectively. So mantra 12 is a parody of mantra 9, mantra 13 is a parody of mantra 10, and mantra 14 is a parody of mantra 11. So it's a repetition, it's a direct imitation. Now, we've already gone through 9, 10, and 11. It is not difficult to understand the content of these verses, but I'll read the translation first. Now, the 12th mantra says, those who worship asambhuti, matter, enter into blinding darkness. But those who revel in sambhuti, which is translated as origin, enter, as it were, into greater darkness than that. If you recall what we learned in the 9th mantra, you have to replace the word vidya with sambhuti and avidya with asambhuti. So the result of asambhuti is matter, avidya. Sambhuti is origin, which is vidya. So you just replace the words, rest of the content of the mantra is exactly the same, nothing changes. The 13th says the result of sambhava, origin, and asambhava, matter, are distinct and different. Thus have we heard from the wise who have expounded that to us, exactly the same as mantra 10. The 14th mantra translation, he who knows these two, sambhuti, origin, and the only addition you will get is the word vinasha. Instead of asambhuti, use the word vinasha. So sambhuti, origin, and vinasha, which means that is perishable. So he who knows these two together, having overcome death through vinasha, attains immortality through sambhuti. Now the last three mantras, 9, 10, and 11, spoke about vidya and avidya. The 9th mantra, those who revel in avidya, which is replaced here with the word asambhuti. Those who revel in avidya. Avidya means ignorance. If you revel in avidya, if you are involved in the mundane transactions of the world, you are in darkness. You revel In Vidya, you revel in the spiritual activities. You take to unselfish activities. You live a life of service and sacrifice. You work for a higher cause. The joy you derive is far greater, far superior to the joy you derive in acquiring, in leading a life of self-centeredness. So the ninth mantra gave a caution to us that do not lose your focus, because the very action itself is very enjoyable. You revel in that activity. So don't get lost in that mere action itself. Remember, you maintain a sense of objectivity. Use it as a means to an end. So, as I've said, the 12th mantra is a parody of 9. Sambhuti is equated to the origin, which means Brahman. Asambhuti, that which is other than the origin, means the world. So those who worship the self, worship the truth, worship the Brahman, or those people who are worshipping the world, worshipping the lower, the two types of people. Now, I'll not get into the philosophy of these 3 mantras because you already have covered extensively in the previous mantras. Now, the question is, why is there a direct imitation or a repetition in the text? Considering the Upanishad is only 18 mantras, one of the most cryptic, one of the most potent texts, in that the master repeats 3 mantras back to back, as it were, a repetition. The question is, why is there a repetition? Fundamentally, this is against the style of the Upanishadic masters. First of all, they speak very less. Now, having spoken, for them to repeat themselves is very unlike their tradition. But he breaks the tradition and he repeats the message. Now, as we have often been told in the scriptural studies, it is not what you hear, it's not what you learn, it's not what you pick up from external sources. We have many ideas come our way, don't we? We learn many things, but the problem is we don't reiterate them. We don't reflect on them. We do not reinforce those ideas so that they become an integral part of our system. How often said and done, I do not know how many of you devote that early hours of the day, the Brahma Muhurtam, which is the 4 to 6, for your own personalization. It is the actual personalization of this knowledge. What knowledge we receive from these masters, it is their wisdom. It doesn't belong to you. It is not your property. You're just receiving it as information. It's raw material. But unless and until you give it the due diligent exercise of making it your own, this knowledge will not serve you. It is of no use. It's like you're having properties and acquired properties all over, but you don't go and stay there. What is the use? Just lying barren, collecting dust, only cobwebs and Dust is there, nothing else. You have never inhabited that place. So what is the use? You have never enjoyed it. Similarly, knowing all these truths, having been taught to us, having been informed about it, if you don't do that exercise of manana, reflection, the knowledge doesn't serve the purpose. And the master here is emphasizing or instilling that practice of reflection by repeating and hammering the thought again into you, drilling into you, so that you will retain it, so that you don't dismiss it, so that you don't forget it. The only purpose they are repeating it is to instill the principle of manana. But sadly, there's so much importance given to Shravana, hardly any importance given to manana. We'll all be very religiously tuning into various channels. There are very many, thanks to COVID, the knowledge has come to your doorstep. You just have to sit in the comforts of your own home and you can get access to all this knowledge. And very soon, all of this is going to stop. You'll have to get out of the comforts of your home and your couch and come to the Guru to listen to him. The Guru is not going to come to you anymore. Those of you who can should do that. Those who can't, will give you a certain, what do you call that? Leeway. Will give you a certain time frame until you report. And if you don't report till then the channel will be cut. Correct, Gayatri Ma? The telecast channel will not be subscribed. You have to subscribe for it. That subscription will get cancelled. So either you assert this knowledge through conscious reflection or you dismiss it and not understand the deeper transformative experience. The real transformation is in the wisdom, not in mere information. I don't know, I'm trying to concentrate, but Shivaji is distracting me. Enna sir idu? I see the beautiful wall of fame behind you. Now, what is? I don't know whether all of you are distracted, noticed or not. I don't know. Yeah, Shivaji, please try now. No comments until I clarify my question. Shivaji, I am trying to concentrate, teach an Upanishadic class here. And you have been so distracting me, I tell you. You have that beautiful wall of fame of your family behind you in the wall. And what is that mosquito bat along with the wall of fame? I don't understand. Where there is no other place in the house to take the mosquito bat and put along with the wall of fame photographs. I can't understand that logic. I'm able to understand the intricacies of this Upanishad, but that part I'm not able to decode. This
is actually my daughter's room. I borrowed it because they are not there. So I don't move anything out of it.
Okay, please don't do that. Otherwise, you will have to move out of the house.
Yes.
Correct. No, then it's okay. Then I'll ask the question to her.
Now they have become visitors, no? So
okay. Right. That answers the question. So the same truth in the Kenopanishad. What I'm saying is the importance of repetition. So if you find the concepts are repetitive, the only objective is to gain wisdom. If these ideas are not repeated, you will not gain wisdom. It is information. I've seen people who get very tired with information. They want variety. They want different textbooks. I've had students coming and telling me, Guruji, why don't you teach Vivekachudamani? Why don't you teach that textbook? Why don't you teach Kathopanishad? Why don't you teach this Upanishad? Why don't you teach that textbook? I said, I have no problem. It's not going to be a challenging affair to teach. But what are you seeking? Are you seeking entertainment or are you seeking wisdom? What are you seeking? It is going to only entertain you with a different flavor. It is going to enamor you with a different style, because every guru has his or her own methodology, a very own unique style. Barring that, the content, the essence of the scriptures is talking about the truth, the self, the Brahman, the reality. And if I can attain that objective of shifting my focus from the worldly transactions onto the self, if I'm able to remain detached to all that's happening here, remain unconcerned and shift my focus to the higher, if that objective is met, why should I go in search for any other truth if I found that truth here? So I have said, I don't know whether you have noted me saying, my search for information has ended long ago. My search for wisdom started long ago. So please be very clear. I don't know how many number of times I'm doing the same text I'm doing. I have lost count of it. The past 30 years, how many times I've done this text, I don't know. I don't want to know. And I will assure you, I will not get tired of repeating these profound words of wisdom, because what I'm in search is wisdom, not information. So it is trying to get you onto the track to search wisdom. So in the Kenopanishad, the same concept, the same methodology is adopted there as well. The famous Kenopanishad, which we have done earlier, there he says, Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhe Nedam Yedidam Upasate. That alone is God, not what you fellows worship here. Tadeva, that alone is Brahman, that alone is God, not what you people worship here. If I were to come down to each one of you personally, ask you, what is your concept of God? What is your concept of Brahman? What is your concept of reality? And the Upanishad declares that alone is God, not what you people worship here. So these masters have declared the truth. The sad part is we are not able to attune or relate to the truth. That's the only difference. So the objective of these three verses, that is 12, 13, 14, is only to reiterate the idea. Now, what is the idea that's being reiterated? You've got to go back to 9, 10, 11. I am not getting into that, because we have spent more than 5, 6 classes on that. I know Kashish is already very angry with me. I've come to attend this class and then you say, you please, I'm not going to teach. Huh?
No, Guruji, I'm happy to do the catch up. I'm just excited to be here.
No. In fact, Harish messaged me yesterday evening. She said, Kashish wants to join the Upanishad class. Is she okay to join? Actually, I was excited that she's joining. So glad you are here, Kashish. But please bear in mind, you have been coming for the dialogues, the eternal wisdom dialogues, which we are doing Sant Kabir. They're obviously of a very different frequency, and you would find the same teacher is very different in both the classes, because the text demands that way. But the same teacher, don't worry. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is the subject matter is very, very cryptic, very subtle. So it will demand you to demand anybody who is coming for the first time to get in tune with the text. Okay, so please bear with the text. If any doubt, please feel free. All right.
Thank you, Guruji.
Right. Yeah. You have been getting advices that YouTube also is available, so you can go to the YouTube Guru also. Right. Okay. Right. So